We're good.
Good afternoon, Nick Nation, and welcome to another edition of Nick's Dreams. Okay, here we are joined by the famous Bill Stradamus, the infamous The Dream, and the notorious Santana, along with the legend in his own mind, Henry 2.0.
That's 2.0.
2.0. 2.0.
2.0.
So, yes, once again, we are here to discuss the previous game and to see what, if any, positives we can extrapolate from that experience and to look forward to today's game. And to kick it off, we are going to hand it off to Santana.
Good afternoon, Knicks Dreams family, and of course, Knicks Nation. And, unfortunately, what we didn't expect to happen actually happened. And that is the Knicks lost against Cleveland and lost against a bunch of guys that were coming off the bench for the most part, with the exception of Drummond, who was the only guy that we expected to play, of course. But, what made this loss even more disheartening was the fact that, number one, it's a game that we should have won. And number two, when you're going up against their second and third players or bench players, there is no reason why you shouldn't control the game and dominate that game and ultimately win that game. And for whatever reason, they laid an egg again. And these are the kind of games we cannot afford to lose. I can understand when we play tougher competition, it could be a 50-50 type of situation. But when we're dealing with a team that we're supposed to beat and we don't beat, that's inexcusable. That, raises eyebrows, because we have to look at what's going on. There's no reason. There's no excuse. There's no logical explanation as to why this team would allow this other team, a bunch of nobodies, to come and run them off the court. So that being said, I'm going to pass the rock to Bill Stradamus and get his take on it.
Well, what you left out is the fact that the Knicks should file a grievance against the league for allowing Cleveland to get a last-minute trade for Wilt Chamberlain, and he being allowed to play.
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought was out there. I didn't know Drummond was there on that team. And that looked like Wilt Chamberlain out there. What are you, 33 and 23? He put up Wilt numbers on him. But he did it, and he didn't do it the way Wilt did it. He did it where he was even playing the point on certain plays or whatever. He played the point. He played defense. He did everything out there. Now I know this is a contract year for him, so he's just showing whoever his next team is going to be that, listen, this is what you're going to get.
Right.
But in all reality, I agree with you 100%, Santana. You cannot let G Leaguers plus one person run you out of the building. And that's exactly what happened. Because from the jump, you see who's coming in, Santana?
Yeah, Big Papa.
Big Papa.
So go ahead, finish your thought.
So, like I said, our big men got worked by Drummond. However, on the brighter side, Quick came in and had another good game. And listen, Tibbs is gonna have to, he's gonna have to work this out sooner than later if he's expecting to make any type of real noise. And what I mean by that is Quickly came in and immediately went on the offensive. Knox came in, went immediately on the offensive. Obi-Wan got a little burn. He didn't do too much. I don't know if I think he hit a shot or two, maybe. But than our defense. Our defense was horrible. That kid was his name? Osman. That kid was wide open on most of his shots. He was wide open all night, just dropping threes, having his career game. Where did he come from?
He's been here.
He's not a surprise. That's the sad part. He's not a surprise. If you look up what
he's been here.
That's his game.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
that's his game.
That's his game. Wide open threes is his game.
Oh my gosh.
He's the new version of Corver.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, Corver is illegitimate as time.
Well, let me go behind the back to you, Dream. Let's hear what you got on this.
Yeah, I'll catch it on the fly. So basically, we all agree we need to be taking the fight to these lesser teams. And the last two games, especially, we've been facing depleted teams, not even having their full roster, right? So the complement of players, these guys really haven't had time together. They're just playing on talent. So it's our talent versus their talent, their leftover talent, not even their starting talent. So, we need to step up. That's a coaching. I'm putting this one on the coaches, for me. Like you said, the defensive effort was all over the place. From start to finish, I feel like Osman and Dotson had impact in the beginning of the game and the end of the game. And that cannot be. Like, how we letting Dotson have any run? We had him here for years, and he was never anything. So we should know how to take him out of the game or get him off any type of game that he does, The open threes all night long, like we said, I jumped ahead. That's what this guy does. And it seems like every time he caught the ball, they were flat-footed and then looking like, oh, my God, this guy's open again, and he's just going to drain it. He's not scared to shoot. And especially with all those guys out, the reason we don't hear about him most of the time is because they have like Sexton and Garland and those are more the exciting players to talk about in the news. But this guy does. If you leave him open, he could fill it up. That's his thing, tons of silly turnovers and crucial moments again. We're make a push for the end of the game, and you get a foul, clear path. Oh man,
that was bad.
That's inexcusable. And that's turnover. The tired minds, and it's just playing tired play, and we getting tired of watching it. So we got to seek a trade just to get the season back on track. We have to seek a trade just to get the season back on track, or we're gonna chalk this up to the lottery again in about 5 more games, because our road doesn't get any easier, especially starting to face teams like Boston, who's coming in the hottest in the East. But we'll talk about that later. Obi needs more time to get healthy. I just don't think he's there physically yet to then bring what he can bring to the game, in a positive fashion, we wasted the opportunity to get a win. That's the biggest thing. I think we said
big time.
We're not a team that can do that at all. We can't waste any opportunity. And these teams right now, it looked like schedule-wise we were going to have a tough time. We started out breaking even, and now we're catching breaks, like literal breaks, COVID breaks, teams that are half, bringing half their teams to the table, and we should be eating these up. I don't care how they come, but we should be eating up these little wins, even if they're fake. I take the empty calorie wins. That's what we need. We need something to stop the losses at this point. So that's what I have right at this point. And, I'm a UTEP 2-step my way and kick it to my left.
Okay.
2.0.
Well, we are what you see.
Yeah.
We have to stop thinking that we need to beat these other teams and all that, because maybe that's the mentality that they're coming onto the floor with. They're looking at the players on the other side and putting down a W before the game is played. You know what I'm saying? They just got to come to play every game, and they don't do that. Mm-hmm. Okay? We have been exposed. Okay? We are weak in the front line. We have no center.
Yep.
We have no center. The two of them combined don't give you 20 points a game. Okay? So I'm sorry, but go get Drummond. Go get that boy before somebody else snatches him. Okay? But I also want to say, okay, that for those of us who wrote down 32, 33, 34 wins. Yeah, well, these are the ones that were on that win list.
Yeah.
So now you can put them on the loss column now and lower your expectations, because it ain't going to be a 35-win season, okay? It ain't going to be a 40-win season. I heard 40 out there somewhere, you know, in the universe somewhere. 40 wins this year. I don't want to say that we're a lottery team, but I want to say let's get back to the real youth movement, okay? Let's get Obi-Wan. Let's get Quigley. Let's get these kids more time. Let's get Rivers to come in as a 6th or 7th player off the bench. Let's give Ingles an opportunity. Let's see what he's got to give us. He was tearing it up in the G League, and he's like lost on the bench. You know, the youth movement. Let's do this. Let's do this, and let's do this now, because this year is a freebie. This is a freebie for the coach. This is a freebie for the coach. He can do whatever he wants, and he can't do no wrong because he ain't got the horses. So give this young kid some playing time to see, like my man Santana likes to say, they can become trade bait or they're going to be good for us. Well, one of the two. Sitting them on the bench is not going to give us nothing in return. Okay, and so I kick it back to Santana to
Okay, so you know, going into the last game, the key matchup or the key adjustment or the key tactic that I stressed was I wanted for anybody who was going to be playing Drummond to box him out, and I was going to be charting the box out. And I would rather leave the rebounding to someone else. Now, he ended up with a line of what, 22 rebounds?
23.
23. So the box out was non-existent. And as a result of that, that gave them second opportunities at the rim to get those extra points. So, you know, that's that defensive thing. You know what I mean? You got to be able to go into a game, understand who your opponent is, and you're going to take away their strength. That's what you do as a coach, as a team, as an individual player, as a matchup. If you're playing another guy and you know that person's game, you're going to try to take away their strengths and force them to the weaknesses. And I'm not seeing that. You know, I'm like, you know, what's going on here? What's happening? Because, you know, that's something that you can control. Your defense, your strategy in that respect. You can't control if you're gonna hit the shot. Right. You know, unless you a high percentage shooter and stuff like that, then yeah, you could count on that. But this team, we can't count on, you know, who's gonna be our primary scorer other than Randall. We know Randall's gonna give us his buckets. Mm-hmm. We know what we're gonna get out of him. There's no doubt in our minds. But then everybody else is like
day-to-day, wishy-washy.
It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. So you know that going in, then you need to know, okay, what's our staple? What's our identity? Our identity is supposed to be defense. Let's be great at that. Let's try to be great at that. And if we have to play a 90 to 85 game because that works in our interest, that reminds me of the Czar of the telestrator.
Yeah.
Okay. The Czar of the telestrator, when he was a coach in Cleveland, it was low scoring games. Why did he play that style? Why did he play that style? He played that style because he knew that he didn't have the offensive firepower to keep up with other teams. And that's in the 90s, mind you, not in this era. Right. He didn't have the firepower to keep up with the offensive team. So what did he do? He slowed the game down. He brought it down to a ground. He controlled the clock. Played solid defense, and they won games. It wasn't pretty, but they won games, right? Knicks are no different. They're not a team that can play that running gun and 3D. They can't. They don't have the horses. They don't have the horses. So what you got to do is you got to play good, solid D. And, yeah, you could get Quickly off. You could get, or Obi-Wan Kenobi off, but it's got to be measured because you want to get them out there, but the problem is that sometimes when you let them loose, you open yourself up to someone coming right back at you. And if your defense ain't tight, that's what creates a blowout. At least they're playing close games.
Right.
But when you start running and gunning and your defense isn't set, your transition defense isn't set, and then your half-court defense isn't set, now you're opening yourself up for the blowouts. So I got to see some adjustments. I really do. With that said, I'm gonna pass you. I'm gonna give you a nice chest pass. Bill, take it away.
Got it. Now back to what you were saying with regard to the boxing out of our big men, and with 2.0 said about our big men, and even I don't know if you saw, even Pops, he sent out I was gonna say a text. He said, "Who still thinks that our man Mitch has this great potential? Raise your hand." And no one responded to that. No one responded to him on that one. And I'm taken back to a couple of days ago where Mitch, and it even made one of the sports shows, he said, Mitch had the nerve to say that guarding the Joker wasn't a big deal, wasn't a problem.
What?
That's what he said. Mitch said that. Now, apparently, no one's talking to him after these encounters with these centers. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made a stupid comment like that. And apparently, no one said anything to him with regard to what he needed to do to keep Drummond off the boards, to either one of them, because it was horrible. I was keeping notes here, and in that second, I wrote down Noel cannot do anything, and I wrote it in caps and underlined it with Drummond. And that is our biggest problem right now, as pointed out by 2.0. Our front line is not doing well. And I don't know if you guys noticed, before every broadcast, they're mentioning Mitch as well. He's having a good season and this and that. And I'm saying, okay, he's doing a little better with regard to his fouling. But that's it. He needs to rebound better, and he needs to play smarter out there. And that's a reflection on the coach, as stated by Dream earlier. That these situations that we're going in, where we seemingly have the upper hand because of the other team's absences, whether it be from COVID, trade, etc. We're not taking advantage of that, and you got to put that on the coach. That the players just going to come out there figuring they can win every game. That's how they should be thinking. Mm-hmm. However, they need to go in there with concrete game plans and structured offensive and defensive setups and attacking approaches based on the team that we're facing. It seems like we're going in there doing the same thing no matter who we face, and it's coming back to bite us now. Now we're falling behind and then having this claw back, but then it's not enough. That's what we did our last several games. Uh-huh. And now what are we on, a 5-game losing streak now? Uh-huh. And we're going into Boston? Well, we're in Boston. So this may be the first time that I'm going to give a score against my beloved Knicks. Around the neck. To 2.0.
Yo, I laugh because if you don't make that prediction, they're going to have to drug test you. If you think the Knicks got a shot today, we're going to have you psychologically examined. Okay? So I think, and I laugh, and I pray, and I'm grateful that you came out of your mouth.
Yes.
Anything else would have been suspect. Yes. So that was basically it for that last segment about how they're coming into these games and about how they played against the competition. We got to stop thinking about that they're playing to the competition, that is their best. Whether some days it translates into wins, and most days it translates into losses. Okay, it's like you know, they're in the game. Like I always pray and preach. If you're in the game in the last 4 minutes of the game, then I like my chances. However, they make those critical mistakes right in that period of time, and that's when you need to take care of every possession. That's when every possession counts. You can make all the mistakes you want throughout the whole game, but when you get to the last minute, they outscored us by 1 point in the first quarter. We outscored them by 1 point in the second quarter. They outscored us, and we was even all the way until the fourth quarter, and then they outscored us by 3 points. That's what happened. We were in that game all game long, except for and speaking of our centers, Nolas got a nice block and kicked it to somebody. Okay,
nice block
that turned into a score. And then the next time, though, when Bullock made a nice defensive play, he gave it away. And before that, No Jay wants to put it between his legs, but Drummond kicked it, and the ref missed it.
Yeah, that's true.
Drummond kicked it, and the ref missed it. That should have been our ball. Okay, so it's like, you know, when you're not being aggressive, when you're not playing your best, when you're playing, you know, not to lose, you lose. They're playing not to lose. They don't play to win. They're playing not to lose. And that's why the 50-50 ball goes to the other side. The calls go to the other team, you know, and we end up on the short end of the score. Take it away, Santana.
You know, I mean, I'm going to keep it short. I think we're not in a position to play those close games and expect to win. We've proven time and time again that the margin of error for us is, I mean, it's smaller than a fraction of my two fingers right now. That's the margin of error for them. So they can't afford to be playing these close games because those mistakes are going to happen. They're going to happen, unfortunately. You could pick any player on the team, Randall, No J, Knox, whomever. You know, we're going to say, oh, man, if it wasn't because of that particular play, we win the game. No. The reason why we're losing these games is because we're not coming out there and really, you know, taking command of the game and having a comfortable lead to absorb those few mistakes that they're going to make here and there. And so, you know, I'm not going to dwell on that too much. I know we're on a limited time schedule. I'm going to pass the rock to the Dream so that he could give us his final thoughts, and then we could start transitioning into what we see about today's game. All right, go ahead, Dream. Take it away.
So collectively, I think what we're agreeing to is that we're not even in these games, these past 5 games, right? We're not even playing against the competition. We're mostly playing against ourselves, right? Ourselves is the competition. We need to get better against our last performance and you know, and improve upon it. What's happening, though, is that we're stuck in this transitional coaching versus play area is what I'm seeing, right? So what we have is the teams we're facing and this new NBA that's from the outside in, right? And we don't have those horses to go from the outside in, 3-point line, you know, in. So we're trying to reverse that. We want to, like you said, muck up the game, slow it down. But the problem is our young guys are coming in and we want them to speed the game up. So now we're coming against a log jamming against ourselves. Some guys want to play that slow down game, but then we have somebody like quickly who we have come in the game to try to pick up the pace. And right now it's like we're battling ourselves in that respect. You know, I hear these things about the last game you guys bring up about positive things. Unfortunately, the two things that stand out in my head are both negative, and they're this: Drummond comes down in the third quarter. And we've talked about boxing out, right? But what does he do? He basically shoves quickly into the stands in the first row for a soda, bumps Noel out of the way, and dunks the ball. So there's no resistance, zero resistance from anybody at this point. So I agree, wholeheartedly in slowing the game down, but that kind of works against us with the development of these young kids that we want to speed the game up. So we have to have some honest, locker room conversations with, team-wise within themselves to say, listen, man, we need to play a little harder, take advantage of these matchups that we have, but just be better. Every guy needs to look in the mirror and just be better. Now we have a situation where we didn't have an inside game, and now Robinson's going to be day-to-day too because he had a dunk that he landed a little awkwardly in his left leg. So, that's going to linger on a little bit. And, so hopefully he's not out for too long, or even if he plays, he's actually like not playing hobbled, because we don't need a hobbled Mitchell Robinson out there. So that's a big deal,
And he missed the dunk, by the way.
What was that?
He missed the dunk.
Yeah, I didn't think he made it.
He got caught on the rim, and that's why he
went for the dunk and he came down awkward. I was trying to tell him the miss part,
he was short.
Yeah. So those kind of things. It's like but after you get beat up all game long, you kind of want to get away from that physicality. So he stepped out just about 6 inches too far when he went up for that dunk, and he tried to dunk it. His comments about playing the Joker and stuff like that, I'll just quickly throw a quick comment out there. I mean, I get it. The Joker plays outside in, so he's not being physical with him most of the game. So he probably felt like, hey man, that wasn't tough.
No.
And I think from the 3-point line, you're not even going out there to defend them, So
and he had him under 20 points too. I think that was part of the.
Part of the
yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah, so.
Although he had a triple double, but he didn't have 20 points.
The 20-point, the beat down.
There you go.
It's kind of
so don't kill Mitch. Don't kill Mitch for saying, "Yo, that was easy."
No, I'm laughing. I'm making light of it. Is what I'm doing.
No.
I'm just saying,
Bill Stradamus was killing him for making that comment.
What was that?
Because that's a high school comment. Yeah.
Yo, he's out of high school. Remember?
No, but we need to tell him that so he wakes up. But outside of that, hopefully we just show out better and play harder. Because the road is not getting easier.
Road.
Also, you mentioned about stepping back off those 35, 34, 37 predictions and stuff like that. I get that. There's a little bit of panic in the air. But if you look back at the teams that we did beat, there's some of those L's that were W's. So, it's going to be that kind of upside down. What was that?
One. That was Milwaukee. That's the only L. The only W that
should have been the second time around. You felt good about that one?
About the Pacers? Yeah, I felt good about the Pacers.
Okay.
And Utah, that was a good.
And Utah, that's what I'm saying. So Atlanta, you can't completely discount the W's that we did take.
So in other words, all those W's should have been L's too.
Let them finish, Henry. Henry.
We just
let them finish.
We just wish that those W's will carry over the effort that we got out of that team. But we're losing guys, and as we lose guys, our team's not going to get better because, like you said, that small little fraction of error that we had, you could tear that up. We don't even have the minuscule. It's not there no more. It's gone. It's washed away. It is at 0. That's it. Flatlined. Is that margin of error. We don't have that. And in some games, if the team is that good, it's a negative. So, we're making stuff up now. Like, not making stuff up, in the world, but we're trying to make up points and make up play and effectiveness. And that's what I mean, in that sense, So I'll swing it back around. Who wants to take it?
Yeah.
Nobody wants it.
Pass it, rock, so we could close out this segment and then move on.
Yeah.
No, that's
any last minute.
I think we're good.
We're good on this.
Yes, we're good.
All right, so now we're gonna move forward to the Celtics. That's who we're playing tonight. Today, this afternoon, and that's going to be another challenge. It's going to be a challenge. Obviously, they're the team. They're the better team right now. There's no – I don't think anybody on this panel is going to dispute that. And then we're dealing with a couple of young studs in Tatum and Jaylen Brown. These cats are legitimate. And the thing about that impresses me more about Tatum is, his development from one year to the next one, his improvement from year to year to year to year. And I attribute that to a decision that he made early on in his first year as a rookie to work out with Kobe. And you can see Kobe's fingerprints all over him in terms of the way that he gets his shot, he squares his body, his footwork, that type of thing, those fundamentals, which is what I'm always harping on when we're talking about No J, the Riddler, Barrett. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that. He needs to go to the videotape, okay, or video footage and look at Tatum, look at Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward also worked out with Kobe, and you could see his fingerprints all over their fundamentals. And that's a learning opportunity, especially now that hopefully he's going to face them today, meaning Mr. Barrett and Tatum. They're going to see each other on the court. Whether they see, defend each other or not remains to be seen. But he's going to be on the floor. He's going to see firsthand why that kid is way and above another level than he is, because that kid he's ready to carry this team.
Yeah,
literally. You know what I mean? And this cat Barrett, that's it. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm gonna leave that alone. Mr. Bill's pajamas, take it from there, man.
All right. Well, back to No J Simpson. He's gonna also have to see Brown. And Brown is right there with Tatum as far as production and everything. Those two are hard to guard. Those two guys, and they're going to be with Boston for a long time coming. You can easily see that. Where's Kemba at in all of this? Is he back yet?
He's out.
He's still out. Wow,
Yeah,
they're still doing it without him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that tells us maybe we should try to see if we can pilfer him away from them and bring him over here. And I know I see you, Santana. You thinking that the dude is too injured for us to want him over here. I know that's your thinking. I can read your mind. However, today I will just be looking to see some development from Quigley, Knox. I hope Mitch plays, but if he doesn't, I expect to see Taj out there with the bone collector, because we're gonna need some big men out there to do something against them. Who's their big man? Thies?
He's out.
They got Christian. They traded for Tristan.
He's out too.
They got a bunch of guys out. COVID. They just coming off COVID. They got tons of guys out. Same thing. Same type of matchup that we're facing the last couple games. We got a COVID rattled team. All their stars are out. But
Brown and Tatum, but both out?
No, Tatum.
Oh, Tatum's out.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, then Brown is going to give us 30. I guarantee you. He's going to give us 30.
We'll see. Day to day or out for Brown?
No, Tatum is out.
Tatum's out. Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
that's what I'm reading.
I just want to see further development. I am not calling no instant W's for us. Like Henry said, I'd be a fool, and I wouldn't have anything to say if someone come knocking on my door asking me to take a test of some sort, whether it be psychological or drug test or I'm not going down that road today.
Okay. All right.
And with that being said, let me pass it behind the back to 2.0. Let's go.
It's Kemba and Jason Tatum that are out, but they got that kid, Pritchard, man, who is doing pretty good at their point guard position. But don't forget the Nick Killer. You know who the Nick Killer is?
Yes.
What's his name again, man?
The stocky cat.
Yes,
the stocky cat. The stocky cat plays defense, block everybody, hit some threes.
No.
He's not dumb. He's not dumb.
No, it's
What's his name? I'm gonna tell you right now.
Man, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. Player.
Marcus Smart.
There
Smart.
you go.
Smart.
He's
It's
not
the Nick
dumb.
killer.
Smart.
He
Come
is
on,
a
guys.
Nick
Come on,
killer.
guys.
I don't know what is it about him that he just comes in here and becomes an all-star. That's your all-star for today, folks. Forget about Jaylen Brown and this and that. Him and that kid Pritchard. Watch out for him. He's going to be an all-star today. Smart is already an all-star against the Knicks. This is going to be the next one. There's always a player who comes in here and it sort of makes a name for themselves. It's like they know that they're playing in the Mecca with or without fans. So they coming in here. Oh, actually, they're playing in Boston.
Yeah,
So,
they're Boston.
yeah. So anyway, Tatum is out. So okay. So they're going to be out 25 points and 8 rebounds. Somebody else will make it up. What I'm seeing for this game is 2 things. Boston has won 5 in a row. We've lost 5 in a row. Boston is 8-3. We're 5-8. Boston is a juggernaut. We're not.
We're just a not.
Take out the jugger. We not. And so, yeah, it could be, like I like to remind us, it can get late very early. This could be a 20-point lead in the second quarter if we're not careful. If we don't bring no defense, it's going to be over. You can just watch the first half and record the second half just for, instructional purposes and for, seeing how the thing went, but don't expect them to come back from no 20-point deficit at all. Not against Boston. And we got another game 24 hours away, or 23, or 22 by the time they finish this game. So, that's all I got to say, other than the fact that it'll be a Boston win, and I don't want to make any predictions on the score because I have to anyway, because just for the purposes of this. So 105-80.
Oh, so you already dropping your score?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Dream. Take it away, Dream.
All right. I mean, a couple of basic notes. We all know, like, they're first in the East. They're 8-3. Super hot. Their last loss was against the Pistons on the back-to-back. It was the first game of the back-to-back, and then since then, like you said, they went 5-0. But those 5 teams that they beat, you can look from the bottom of the East straight up the line. Detroit, Toronto, Miami, Washington, and Orlando. Shitty teams all the way up from the bottom, the worst teams. And that don't even include the Knicks because we went on that little run of winning games. But we're here. We're ready to go now. Okay, we're right there now because of the last loss. So now they're about to go, maybe drop that 6-0. Those 2 top 10 scorers, 7 and 10 respectively, Tatum and Brown. I don't know, who's available, who's not available. They keep changing it, going back and forth. But the thing I wanted to point out is that both those guys in successive years, 16 and 17, were the 3rd pick overall. So this is what Barrett needs to be for us. Like, Boston was able to change their franchise projection because of those 2 back-to-back number 3 picks. And that's what we need. We need impact players like that, right? And that's what we want. And until we get that, and maybe, Barrett's just a little bit slow developing because now we have year 4 and 5 for those guys and they're really like, whoa, So maybe he'll turn into that if we give him some time and stuff. But, Tatum, when he first came in the league, gave us flashes right away. Like, Boston went to the playoffs, and we remember what Tatum did in the playoffs. It took it over all of a sudden. It was like, whoa, this guy out of nowhere, he's going to be the next big thing, So we've yet to see that kind of impact, game after game, and important times of the game, and being relied on kind of thing from our young players, Rebounds, we're even. We're both 11 and 12th in the league, and both of us have injuries, so we don't know where that's going to go. If Robinson is out, it means definitely no rim protection. So a guy like Robert Williams III, you got to watch him getting loose because he's a nobody who's just going to control the inside. I also have Pritchard down as a guy to watch, but the other guy mainly that I need for everybody to take focus on tonight is Jeff Teague. He kills the Knicks all the time. So if him and Smart get on a roll, those two might be the guys that kill us. Remember Jeff Teague from Atlanta?
Atlanta.
Yeah, he was running us up, but they have him. He's sitting around not doing nothing. So, they got. I had it this morning. I looked in. I'm not sure if it's still that or not, but they had about 8 guys out of the lineup. But that doesn't mean anything because the Cavs had 6 guys out the lineup, and they're 2 most potent scorers, and they whooped us. So, it's going to be a tough game. Do I have a score? I also think it's going to be a blowout, unfortunately, by 15. And man, this one's out of hand. Yeah. Just because I think our effort might die off in the fourth quarter. I hope not, though. 112-79.
Woo! Not even 80 points.
You're not going to believe I got to change mine now.
I want to bang my head on the computer.
What you had before you changed it?
I was saying 112-83.
Okay.
What did you just say?
112-79.
79, yeah.
79?
79. I don't think we break in. I think it's real sloppy.
Okay, then I'll keep mine. 112-83.
All right. Okay.
That's almost 30.
Finger roll from the free throw line. Back up top. Santana.
In terms of you made a point about Barrett and not being the 3rd pick and not producing at the level that Brown and or Tatum have produced. Okay. And unfortunately for Brown, he's a legend in his own mind. You know what I'm saying? Because he's still smarting from the fact that he wasn't on the all-rookie team last year. Mm-hmm. But it's obvious. I mean, if you compare, as a matter of fact, last night I was watching, what's his name? Morant from Memphis. Oh. Head and shoulders above Barrett. You know what I mean? And I know, Dream, you gave a rundown of all the players that got drafted and how further along they were at this point of their career in comparison to Barrett. So, unfortunately, I understand the narrative that's out there, the MSG is putting out there, because this is what they have to do. Mm-hmm. They have to, marquee their players. And he's supposed to be the poster child. He's not producing like the poster child. And even when he's producing any points, they're not significant. They're contributing, but not to the point that they're making an impact or making a difference in the game. And so, it's a shame that Tatum is not going to be out there on the floor today, because I really wanted him to experience or watch that kid and say, okay, I need to take my game to another level. Because right now, he's just floating in while he's playing. You know what I mean? He's trying to find his spot. He's trying to find his game. So that means he doesn't have a game. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a game. He's trying to find it. And that's not going to cut it. Especially you want to be the guy, or you want to be recognized as all whatever. Yo, you got to produce, and they got to be impact. They got to be significant. I know in the past people were complaining about Randall and say, well, yeah, he's a stat stuffer, but they can't win. Right? And then, okay, that's a fair assessment. So then what do you say about Barrett? What value is he bringing to the team? Oh, he works hard? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. But we need him to be more than a workaholic. We need him to produce in significant spots and have an impact on the game. And so, I'm hopeful that today, there'll be some glimmer of hope in terms of improvement defensively. I do not expect them to win at all. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm pleasantly wrong. But I don't expect them to win. And so my prediction for this game is going to be 105 Boston and 90 for the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, okay? Really?
I'll give them a 15 point differential there. Okay. But the thing is, with what's his name, their coach, man, on the Boston side of things, he's a solid coach, smart coach, young coach, and that team is well coached. That team is very disciplined in their offensive sets. They do a lot of split actions and stuff like that. And if the Knicks don't defend that right, ooh, I may be wrong in terms of the score too. The differential be even higher. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna swing it around my back, and then I'm gonna look one way and pass it another way. Let me pass it off to 2.0. 2.0.
Magic.
What you got to say?
I got that. I caught that no look behind the neck pass. Okay, to Worthy. Nothing more to say. I think we basically captured the most important points that we can say about this game, about the Knicks, about their needs. I am with you. I am praying and hoping and wishing, and that's a shame that as a Knicks fan, that's what I'm left with. Wishing that I was switching and hoping that I was smoking. Sky, because that I'm wrong, basically. That my prediction about this 25-point win, let's say, only turns into a 5-point loss. I hope it isn't as embarrassing as I think or as I'm making it out to be, because they're bringing in the energy. They pack their defense with them on the way up. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is they leave the defense back home, and I don't even think they leave it. They bring it to the Garden sometimes. They leave it somewhere else, maybe in the locker room or something. But I'm hoping that if they bring their defense, it'll only be a 5-point loss, not a 25-point loss. Take it away, Dream.
Well, I mean, here we are, hopes and dreams again. 5 minutes before game time, So I'll make sure I got a comfortable seat. I'll put on my finest suit, take him to church, because that's what Boston's going to do to the Knicks. Take him to church. And at the end of the game, we'll all be saying, "Hey, man, can't wait for the Magic." And that's it for me. That's it. Hope it doesn't get embarrassing, So
Well, me, I'm going to be. This is, by the way, this is coffee.
Coffee.
I think by halftime
it'll be alcohol.
I'll be graduated to something a little stronger. But I'm just gonna sit back, sip this coffee, and just look for growth in certain players.
Yes.
That's all I can do.
That's all we
can all do.
Right.
I'm hoping that Tibbs, play the young guys, because that's another thing that we really never we don't discuss. But that's been Tibbs' way. That has been Tibbs' way. He plays his main guys, and some say for too many minutes, oftentimes.
Right.
And right now, we have some young guys who need to just play. So if Tibbs should be considering basically shaking up the lineup, inserting Quickly and Knox.
Go small ball. Yeah, I agree.
And just try something different.
You can move Randall to the 5.
Yeah, you can
and bring Knox into
the coach. You can do whatever you want to do. And like one of you guys said, you got a free year.
Yes, right.
You got a free year basically, because if they give Friendsdale, if they gave him the autonomy to just do whatever he wanted to, and he chose to continue. I don't know what he was doing, but I digress. I don't want to talk about that man right now. Tibbs,
you might have been drinking earlier.
Tibbs was brought over here as this is a coach that they needed, blah blah blah. But he's been a little suspect these last few games with the lineups that he's playing and for the length of time that he's given certain players and not other players. Because I contend that if he gave Knox the same minutes and the autonomy to shoot whenever he wanted, do whatever he wanted, as he gave Noj, Knox would put up better numbers.
That's a great point. He did that a couple games ago. I don't know if you noticed. They both played the same amount of minutes, 19 minutes, and they both scored the same amount of points. That was Knox went off 4-5 from 3-point line.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring that up, and I just forgot.
Knox.
A couple shows ago that you called that correctly. If you give him the same amount of time, he'll probably score the same amount of points. That's not what we need. We need more from Barrett.
Right.
You don't need to be even with that with guys that are supposed to be bench players.
So
or proving themselves to be bench players.
Right. Let them youngsters get in there. Let them youngsters, see where our direction lies. Don't keep waiting, and you're starting the same starters and the same things happening. We're getting jumped on early, and then we have to climb and crawl back. Once you put in the players that we're saying that you should possibly start the game off with, stop doing the same thing. What is that? Is that the
definition of insanity. Yeah. Doing the same thing and expecting a different
result. And that's what it seems like Tibbs is doing.
Yeah.
Knock it off, Tibbs. Or hand it over to Woody.
Yeah.
Hand it over to Woody if you don't know what to do.
That's it. Woody knows what to do.
Okay. Let me get a bounce pass. I see Dream trailing me. Oh no, that's Santana's trailing me.
Santana.
Between the legs. From behind.
That's shaking the rim.
No, that's me with the pom-poms.
Hilarious.
Rim rocker.
So yeah, fellas. So we're gonna start wrapping this up because game time is upon us.
Yep, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
We got 5 more minutes. The game will be upon us, and then we got another 23 hours to do another session like this, leading up to the Orlando Magic and stuff like that. Maybe we could, based on the outcome of today's game, we could discuss, who we're gonna make moves on. You know what I mean? Which are the moves that we're gonna make to strengthen this team. I know we didn't have enough time to talk about that today, but we need to touch up on that because I think that's a reality right now.
And
Henry,
one of those teams, sorry to cut you off, one of those teams we're talking about trading with was Orlando too. So we get a chance to see those players, or if they keep them out, we may be doing something behind the scenes.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens today. How they perform, and then what that tells us we need to do.
Note also tomorrow's game is at 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna be on at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Come on.
Sounds like a
So
plan.
Henry, you want to take it away?
Yes, sir. So once again, as we come to the end of another episode of As the Knick World Turns, I want to give a shout out to my man, The Dream, Bill Stradamus, and Santana, the Prophet. And remember, once a Knick,
always a Knick. All right, salute, fellas.
All right, Papa. Let's see. Let's go get your coffee and whatever your hard drink. There you go. Born and raised a certified Knicks supporter. Why not Knicks fan? What happened? That came that way?
You missed the word barracks. Born and raised a certified Knicks supporter. It spells out barracks.
No.
This is the New York Knicks barracks. All right.
There you go.
That was too
all right,
close.
fellas.
I'll send some images out to you guys so you can have one. No problem.
Whoa. Excuse me. Thank you.
We'll get something started out here.
Yeah.
Later,
all right, now.